Welcome to the Adventuresome Kitchen. I'm Jennifer Lee Robinson. Today, we are going to make Grama's Pie Crust Plus, a new mix that has just been released by the Adventuresome Kitchen. It's very easy to make, and it will remind you of the pie crust your grandma made when you were a kid. So all you need to make the pie crust is 16 tablespoons of butter, or butter-flavored shortening, that's 2 sticks, and ice water. Today I'm going to be making this in a food processor because it's super fast. But don't worry if you don't have a food processor. You can also use a metal bowl and a pastry blender. If you use a metal bowl, make sure you put it in the freezer first so that it gets nice and cold. Okay, so in goes the butter. In this case today it's butter-flavored shortening. We're making a non-dairy version of the pie crust. And once they're in, I like to mush them around and get them coated with flour a little bit so they don't stick together as much. And the lid. Alright, 8 pulses. So this machine needed a little more than 8 pulses. Basically you want your fat to be about this big, smaller than your pinky finger. So whatever your machine is, just keep pulsing until the butter has gotten to be that small. I'm going to give this one more pulse and then add the ice water. You always want to start off with 5 tablespoons of ice water, no more. And the reason why is because if it's hot or humid or rainy, the flour can naturally absorb more water and you might not need as much ice water for 5, sorry, I had to count there. You might not need as much ice water as you would in the middle of winter, for instance. And you're going to pulse again. So, once you've added the ice water and you've pulsed it 10 to 15 times, you will see the dough coming together. And when it's just barely come together, turn it out onto a piece of parchment paper. And before you touch your dough, flour your hands with tapioca or cornstarch and begin to just mound this together. You want to work quickly, and the reason why it's very important that the fat stays cold. As soon as the fat warms up, it will liquefy and you will lose the essence of what makes pie crust flaky. So you can see here a nice little mound. Now my secret to the flakiest pie crust is a French technique called fraisage, which basically looks like this. Take the heel of your hand and, working very quickly, push the dough in short little bursts in front of you. What you are doing is working the flour into the fat. Remember, this makes 2 9-inch pie crusts, so I'm only going to work with one of them right now. The other one I'm going to put in the fridge so that it stays nice and cold. And just form it into a little ball. I like to put just a little bit of flour on it. And remember, when I say flour, I'm not talking regular gluten-filled flour. I'm talking tapioca starch or cornstarch for this application. Okay, it's been 2 hours. Pat your dough. I like a wooden pie roller. What do you call that, a rolling pin? I like a wooden rolling pin. Flour the rolling pin. Put a little on your pie crust, and then just begin to roll it out. If it's been in the refrigerator a really long time, you might have to beat it a little bit with the rolling pin to soften it. And then as you stretch it, I'm just going to sprinkle the other side now and keep rolling. Okay, so I've rolled this out, but now as I get to flip it, I'm going to actually flour this and place it on top. Woo! And flip it this way. As the pie crust gets thinner and as it warms up, you might find that this is an easier way to roll. And today, instead of putting this in a pie crust, I'm actually going to cut out little diamond shapes and use this for a delicious squash crudité. This is a very flexible pie crust.
And then
And just keep rolling. And for something like this, you probably want the pie crust to be about a quarter to an eighth of an inch. If it's too thin, it's gonna get over brown in the oven. So you can see I have cut out the pie crust into these lovely little diamonds. Now my secret for getting really beautiful pie crust is a little wash of egg yolk and a tablespoon of heavy cream. Today I'm using a tablespoon of coconut milk because we're making these non-dairy. You just brush the mixture right on. Okay, these are ready to go. I'm going to pop these in the oven at 375 for 10 to 12 minutes until they're golden brown. All right, the pie crust cookies are done. And look how beautiful and puffy and golden these are. And for this particular recipe, I'm just going to sprinkle a tiny bit of savory goodness. Here you have a cracker, perfect for a cocktail party. I'm going to bite into this one. So, the directions that I gave you today